Good
Good
evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Come on in.
Good
Come on
evening,
in.
everyone. Hey, good evening. Oh,
Come on in and join us. Good. Good to see you. Good.
If you're visiting as a person of the general public, please sign
Sign your autograph.
I'm here
this.
representing Guns Down Like Fuck.
Welcome.
Okay.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Mr. Manager.
That is
Welcome.
great.
If you're a
Wow.
board member and part of the committee, your name should be right here in this sheet. Please get a copy of the agenda so the chair can start the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody for showing up today. It means a lot to our community that we have individuals that are passionate about making changes and making an impact in our community. Today, I'd like to start off with introductions on why we're here, expectations and everything. We have to approve the agenda actually. Sorry. Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. I pass a motion to approve the agenda.
And
As I am Baldwin, second that motion to approve the agenda.
discussion of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. So, my name is Stephanie Calzado. I am 32 years old. I've been born and raised in the Bronx. And the reason why I've joined my community board was due to the drastic changes that I was seeing in my neighborhood, from the drugs to the violence, the lack of resources. And that was my main reasoning to joining. And I realized how important it is to voice our concerns when it comes to our community. And that was the main reason I joined as a member. And Anthony and Clarissa honored and gave me the position to chair, which I'm very grateful and blessed for, because I know how important our voices are. So we could go around and everybody could introduce yourselves.
Absolutely. How you doing, everybody? My name is Zion Baldwin. I chair the Education and Youth Committee here on Bronx Community Board 1. Longtime resident of the Bronx and of this district. Currently teaching here in the district as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. My meetings for the Education and Youth Committee happen every second Wednesday of the month. So feel free to come to those as well. And happy to be here and happy to meet everybody.
Very good. Hi, everyone. I'm Argelia Ortiz. I belong to the board. I'm a board member. I have lived here right in this district all my life, actually. And similar to Stephanie, I saw the changes that are happening. And my philosophy is anything that I could do to help my community and neighborhood, and anything that I could. I grew up at a time when everything was burned down, and we had to learn how to help each other out. And I carried that philosophy out through with me. So here I am. Okay.
My name is Kim Masita. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at Guns Down Like Fuck. And we are here to find some solutions to social problems going on.
I really appreciate you guys being here. We recently lost a member from the dance community due to gun violence. So it just reminded me and really let me know the reason why I'm here. So I really appreciate that you guys are here. It means a lot.
My name is Real Moore. I'm the outreach worker supervisor at Guns Down Like Fuck. We here to service the community and try to bring down the gun violence in the community. So we're servicing about 75 youth in this community. So anything that's being done in the community, we want to show up and support and get as much information as possible. Thank you for inviting us.
Johnson.
Can't hear you.
I'm Jasmine Johnson. I was born in the Bronx. I go to school out here, It's just important to me because I'm from here. I go to school out here, so anything that's happening, I need to be aware of, and I need to be careful of my surroundings. But it's my home. I shouldn't have to be looking behind my back and turning my head everywhere.
Welcome.
Okay, my name is Portia Wilson. I'm a community health worker with Fifth Neighborhood. So, doing community work and community outreach, I see a lot of disparities, especially in the Bronx. So, I just want to join the boards, come to committees, just find out information. This my daughter, so we're just trying to see like what changes can be done. And like she said, she has a lot to worry about, but as a mom, like I have a lot to worry about too. So.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Nguyen. I'm a law student, and so I'm taking this course called State and Local Government this year. One assignment that we have to do is come to a local community meeting, board meeting, local government meeting. So today is the day I decided to come to one. This was the most recent one on the calendar, and I live in Mott Haven, so this is the correct district. So I thought, why not come down here and observe?
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Cameron Fezzi, and I'm a reporter with the Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anthony Jordan, District Manager to the board. Welcome, everybody. Just to remind you that our meeting is being live broadcast on our YouTube channel, BXCB1. So please check us out. Also on our social media, Facebook and Instagram accounts. So welcome to everyone else. Madam Chair, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So going to the next on the agenda, we spoke yesterday on our committee meeting with the education and youth on our district needs. Can you give them a little bit more?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So every fiscal year, the community board goes through a process that's called district needs assessment. And what that does is the board is asked to identify the most pressing issues facing our district, whether it's affordable housing, parks, open space, land use trends, traffic, where we name the most common pressing issues for our board in the coming fiscal year. And boards are actually choose their most important issues within 7 policy areas, such as healthcare, human services, and public safety, emergency services. Every year, all of our community board, 59 of them, prepare our community needs assessment statement, identifying the funding priorities for that district. These statements are key to informing the city's neighborhood and infrastructure planning, equitability of efficient delivery of these services to the communities citywide. City agencies must respond to the community board's budget requests in our city annual budget. So what we are asking is each of our committees to be able in this area of young adults to identify areas where we believe district-wide needs to be focused on and funded, and have that discussion generally as a community and as a district, bringing it to the attention of the chair of the committee, which then passes on to the general board meeting. This is a process we're going through between now and mid-October, and it has to be passed by the board, where the district manager releases that statement, and then it goes to the borough president and the city council to pass. These priorities are extremely important because when they say closed mouths don't get fed. So this is our opportunity to talk about what are the priorities. And so last night we had a brief discussion with the Education Youth Committee. Tonight we're doing young adults. We're going to do throughout the whole month, talk about each committee. There are examples of our previous fiscal year district needs assessment that we did last year, and the statements that we released. Please take opportunities to review them. And if we want to identify some at the chair's leisure, we should be able to have discussion of some things that are going to be outcomes that come to the full board to move forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, of course. So with that being said, Zion, you could start, maybe we could write some things down to start off with, maybe starting the discussion and what you think, maybe, as an educator, like your district needs, even for your classroom,
For young adults.
for your young
This is for the young adults community. We did this last night.
Okay. So,
Yes, needs. When I think about what young adults need here in the community, I guess just more recreation space. I think a lot of times about how when I was growing up, I was into playing basketball, but there weren't many gyms I could go to or had access to. So whether that's just like getting more permits to be able to play sports or, you know, leisure activities inside of these public schools or community centers. I think opening those up, opening up more of those at a higher frequency here in the community in District 7, I think that's super important. So I just think like we need to constantly be emailing, you know, principals of these schools, asking for permits, reaching out to organizations like Guns Down, Life Up, you know, Bronx Works, all of the different organizations we can, and seeing if they could sponsor some sort of programs, and then, you know, we could work in partnership with them to get in the space available to host these programs. But that's the main thing I can think of off the top of my head.
I
More
definitely
spaces.
could jump on that. Recreations. We need a lot of recreation centers, community centers, green spaces, just so that when the kids do come out of school, the young adults come out, they actually have access. Archie.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. My concern about the youth is economically how we helping our youth. And I noticed that a lot of the youth, especially like, for example, in the summertime or when they're at their winter recess, some of them would like to have little, even part-time jobs on the side, and that would help them economically. I want to know how many businesses in our districts could be implemented in hiring them and giving them something to help them out economically. Okay, when I was a youth, the kids that, like, for example, didn't get chosen for summer youth employment were able to go to the good old Alexander's and over here to Third Avenue to get a job. Okay, how many of the youth in our neighborhood or in our district, if I may, Burlington is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Marshalls is a multi-billion. McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar. But I want to know how many youth that live in our actual neighborhood could go there and get themselves a job, and after school part-time job. Little things like that help them. We've got some youth who are 18 who just graduated from high school. They're looking for a job. Where are they supposed to go? You know, even the ones who graduate from college. You know, some of them go here, right here, to Hostess Community College and colleges in our district. Where do they go to survive? Many of them would like to get their own apartments. They do, but rent is so expensive and so high that many of them are starting their careers. But I wonder if we could, one solution to putting the guns down is to implement these youth and give them leadership jobs so that they don't have to go out there and deal and they have to kind of retreat to the violence. I really think that's what's going on. So that's my main input, and I am advocating to all the businesses, especially in our district, to do more to employ the youth, to give more youth job training, and to give them more opportunities within that venue so that they don't have to turn to crime, so that they don't have to become part of a gang in order to survive. Because I believe that there's a reason for everything. I don't believe any youngster just wakes up and says, okay, I'm going to shoot somebody today. I don't think, okay, something leads to that. And that's my main, my agenda with the youth. And you'd be surprised. Youth bring in a lot of good new energy to the businesses. Youth bring a lot of even new insight. Even me personally, let me tell you, all this electronic and Instagram and Facebook, and it was the youth that taught me about all that. And that's how I caught on with all, you know, how to Google, how to go to Wikipedia and all these. It was the youth that I go to. So believe it or not, we work hand in hand with each other and we learn from each other. I love the youth. So I think, but mainly I want some of the businesses in our communities, in our districts, to start employing and implementing the way I see that happening in the other districts. I see the other neighborhoods doing that. Why can't I do that? There's even that Bronx Terminal Market. There's a Target there. There's a Best Buy there. How many youth that actually go to school and live in our district have a job there? Is my question. I think something should be done about that. So that's my main, just like you, I agree with the recreation centers. We need to if we could have recreation centers for our youth, they wouldn't have to turn to the gangs. they wouldn't have to turn to the gun violence. I mean, it's terrible. The numbers of gun violence keeps getting higher and higher. Every time I turn on the news, there's, okay, a new incident. You're right. Something has to go on. There's a genocide. Listen, I'm quite bold. Yes, I'm going to say the word. That's called genocide. I don't beat around the bush with that. But anyways, we can move on now.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Chime in on both of you talking about
Hi, Clarissa. Hi, Clarissa.
Hey.
we have a anti-gun violence employment program that's year around some of the summer youth, where we basically hire the youth the same way. It's year round. We also have our own cohort where basically we get youth outside. We only get 20 slots from the city. We add on an extra 60 if we know the need for it, right? So that's something that we're doing to employ our youth. Also, we are part of DYCD. Pure Balance has now been part of DYCD, where they gave us access to anything that they are part of, right? All the buildings, any community centers, the schools. So as far as activities go, we can make that happen. So if you have any ideas, bring it to us. We can make some calls and make some things happen.
Resources for
Yeah,
spaces, the gyms, the
Yeah.
principals.
Right now, we working with the Classic Center right here in Portland. We also doing Eastside Settlement House in Patterson. And whatever else is available, we can kind of like write the ticket and make it happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got a very real question about GDLU and all of the violence intervention programs, right? So I'm Clarissa, chairperson of the board. So one of the things I would talk about is how long the investment has been in the violence intervention programs and how crime continues to increase, right, in our communities, how the violence within the area of these specific catchment areas just isn't under control, right?
Well, actually, because it was a recent incident in Patterson.
Right.
But prior to that, it wasn't a shooting there like 400.
Right. In Patterson. But and you know, Patterson is home and dear to me, but when I think about Board 1, I'm thinking Melrose, Fort Morris, like, you know, all of that. How do we, like, one, I would love to, and maybe this is a bigger question, right? Because I would love to know what the violence intervention budget is, right?
Yeah. So
How,
what I say sometimes is
and now I know you guys are under the
now
DYCD.
finally, yeah.
So I would love to know, right, and maybe you can bring this information back, what that budget looks like. But I know that it's not just GDLU, it's SOS, it's Release the Grip. There's so many, right? So what does that budget look like for the Bronx, right?
Well, I have to just talk about our budget is small, right? We just been part of Pure Balance. We was doing the work with a $300,000 budget, 3 people doing the work. They finally granted us to add more staff, and as you know, we got 9 outreach workers and violence interruptions. So, but there's always a gap. So they gave us, we got Patterson and Mitchell, but we service Cortland, but there's not a Pure Balance in Cortland, right? So we know that they beef, so we have to do both sides. But the budget is not really there for that. You got to understand that if there's how many officers are in one precinct, right? How many Pure Balance workers? So if prevention is less than getting locked up, we behind.
Right.
We can't. So we taking some of our budget to pay the youth. Like that's our budget that we supposed to be hiring. We say, nah, we got to give it to them.
Right. Incentivize.
Right. So this is something that we doing because we know. So it's growing, but it's not where it really needs to be at. Right. We know we need more prevention. You should spend more money on prevention, right, than intervention. If we could do that, actually, even our age population is behind, right? We service 14, you know, kids are outside at 12 years old, right? And then now, once they get 14, you try to tell them come inside. They're like, nah, I'm outside smoking already. I can't. You get them a job here, they can't even come here. They can't leave their neighborhood. They'll tell you like, I'm not going.
We were just talking about that yesterday,
right? Because it's too late. right? We behind. We gotta service them early and never let them feel the streets. They shouldn't even know what it's like. Don't give them an option. So I think one of the main things what we need to do is start them younger, right? Activities is cool, but I used to coach. A lot of the kids that I coached, I sent them to college. When they came back, they believed they couldn't do nothing else. They went right back to the hood. And I was like, damn. I tried, but they didn't believe they couldn't do nothing else but play basketball. And when that wasn't available to them no more, the streets was back. So for me, it's like educating them younger, showing that they can do more than just sports or be a rapper, and doing that young. If we could do that young, that's prevention. So that's something I like.
So GDLU now has this catchment area, so it expanded too, right? Like Patterson and Mitchell. What is the catchment area for GDLU
Just
specifically?
Patterson and Mitchell.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh wow.
But
But
we
also
still,
any shootings, any
anything that comes
stabbing,
into Lincoln
Lincoln Hospital, you guys respond to that.
we respond to all shootings. Anything that comes into the hospital, we respond it, and then we'll call SOS if it's in their catchment, RTG. But we service anybody that comes. But we still service here, like we still do the work, but we not really assigned to it.
Right.
So that's
And
all.
so who makes the decision of saying, hey, you know what? Let's focus on Patterson and Mitchell.
Who gave us the catchment?
Like who
gave us the catchment and DYCD.
So DYCD makes that decision.
Yeah. Which we was doing that work anyway, right? So they seen just like we doing Portland, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
You're doing Portland now?
Yeah. But
that's not budgeted.
That's not budgeted.
Right.
So we coming out our own budget, going over there. When that incident happened between those two, we had to jump in the middle of it to stop it. Right? We had to stop the fire early.
Now you say you guys had to stop the fire early, but to my understanding, somebody went from Patterson, shot on this side, then somebody came and shot on that side.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, people were shot on both ends.
In a 2-day span,
right?
Wherever those shoots happened.
Now, what happens? So we weren't able to stop that. How do we get ahead of? Because what I think, right, is that the investment in the violence prevention model, great, right? I think it's great. But I also want to understand, how do we become proactive instead of reactive, right? Because we react to the shooting after the person has been hurt.
Yeah.
So my thing is, how do we learn about the beefs before, right? Is this in the school system, right? Something that we talked about yesterday was we have students, right? Because I work in a school, we have students who, we know who the students are, right? We know the difficulties that they have. We know what's happening. We know they're in the hood. So how do we, sometimes these students are disciplined in a way that it results in suspension, expulsion. How do we catch it prior, right? Like, my thing is like, how do we become proactive? Like, how you guys are the inside school.
Yeah.
When I think about who, the violence interrupters are the people who are on the ground, who know the people, right? Who have the buy-in, right? And are the ears on the ground. Yeah. How do you guys try to do this before it? Like, for instance, let's use Patterson and Cortland. Yeah. Did you guys know of any beef prior?
So that's something that happened on social media. And when that happens, it's like this. It's out of, oh, you talking? And they ride out. The kid that actually did it, he was only like 13, 14 years old, right? But we already identified who he was way before we were trying to get him. Right. So we knew kind of like he was going to be a problem. Right? We wanted to get to him. He came into office, kind of wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So we identified him. And as soon as it come out, this is what happens, right? Social media is like is a weapon to the community, right? So, and it don't have to be no beef. All it has to be is somebody smoking on the dead or just
a track song.
Yes,
music
like,
now.
And we don't have it. Like maybe the DA's office, they have a unit that watches social media, right? And what BD has it, like as far as pure violence, we don't really have that. Like we don't have enough money to even even have people sit around like this and just sit on social media.
So
watch
monitor
it.
this
Yeah,
stuff.
so it's a little different, but we kind of, because one of ours got shot on the right. One of our kids that was in our program, he got shot, right? Justin got shot. So we knew, but we were trying to stop the rest of them
Right,
from riding out.
right.
So that's how we was able to stop. Yeah, we even had even the older dudes in both communities was telling the young boys, man, y'all better stop, because actually the older dude, the father got killed. Right. So, but we was able to minimize the damage that was going to happen, and then they end up getting picked up in whatever case. As you know, nothing's going on right now. But we really we couldn't stop the kid that his father got killed, right? And then the other kid that did it, but we could stop the support, right? So if you got a team that's ready to ride, you dig what I'm saying? So if we take that away, they not gonna ride because they ain't got people to ride with them. So that's a strategy that we go about, is to get, maybe he's too invested into this beef, but there's a bunch of people around him that really don't want it, but they scared to say no. So what we started seeing is that a lot of them started hanging out at the hospital. And that's how we knew that they didn't really want to be part of that beef, right? I'm going out 8 o'clock, they ain't fucking that. I'm like, what y'all doing here? But I already know, right? We leaving the door open, come downstairs. That's an exit for them to be like, yo, I was down there. You can tell who don't want to be part of it.
Right.
And those are the ones you got to grab immediately. Yeah. So that's something that you have to pay attention to.
So where are those two kids now? Like, what happens? So these two kids, I'm assuming, are arrested, in custody.
So right now, yeah, because it's a murder.
Right.
It's a homicide. So
do you guys still are y'all still connected with
still,
them?
Yeah, so we support both sides, because sometimes they get released. Right. You can't let this person come back into the community with the same mindset, with no support. He's going to do it again. You see it over and over again. Most of the people doing the crime, they already have open cases, right? Because they say, the system, I'm getting out. They do robberies, get out. Shooters get out. They pull with guns, get out. So we have to now. That's one of the ways we get to them, because they know they need support. So we say we support you in court. You sign up with this mentor program, and we're gonna support you in court. That's when they need us. Because a lot of times you go to, I don't want to hear it. You're gonna need me.
Right.
And then that's when we jump in. So we go to the courts, we go to the Department of Probation, we in family court. So we doing everything that we can possibly do. But as far as prevention goes, I don't want to get them there. I want to get them. I don't even want to get them.
Right.
Right? Like when we come, it's kind of like,
it's a problem.
Yeah, it's like, I'd rather you be 8, 9 years old, you in an educational program, a STEM program, and
Are you guys in the schools?
We in the schools, right? I was in Bronx Leadership Academy, Visit Wings. So as far as like with Project Pivot, we was under that. And then we also go to the schools, we do workshops in the schools, peer pressure workshop, conflict mediation, and an emergency.
Yeah. What is this? Is this office in a central location where people might feel comfortable to be in this space?
As far as
like young people. So one of the things that I've been trying to work with our team about is thinking about creating a circle of safety, but not just of one intervention. But similar to how you guys all meet once a month, but meeting to intervene in what's happening in communities, right? So because a lot of this stuff, a lot of these young people, you'll see it in schools, right? You know who's who, and then you know who they are in their communities, right? And so my thing is, if we can work with schools, right, to say, hey, before you suspend a student, you have kids who bring knives, you have kids who are fighting, right? Before we suspend them, we have this intervention group, right, at the community board, and we're willing to. I don't like the model of suspension. Very different mindset when it comes to discipline. So how do we intervene and give that student full service of what they need. So mental health providers, and I know Lincoln has that. I'm sure you guys are connected with that. But like, how can we serve as a space for that, right? I don't know what other office spaces you guys have in the community aside from Lincoln. You said a lot of them like to hang out at the hospital, but like
It's a safe
creating
place,
this also, creating this
it could
space
be, but it would.
because we're so close to Portland.
So that might be an issue. But I think before you can even get them here, you gotta build a relationship. They gotta trust that you got it, right? They gotta trust that if they walk with you, they all right. Because I think 98% of them want to feel like somebody cares and somebody who's gonna protect them. So most of the time, what you've seen them stand over because they don't have nobody that trusts that kid. So that was a situation that happened in BLA over here, and the kid he came in there, he was like, I'm gonna go out there and shoot people anyway. He said, there's nothing you can. He said, it was going in one ear right out the other. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get to this kid. So I tapped myself. So as we talking, I'm like, I said, I could give you want to do 100 years? I'll give you a blueprint to do 100 years. Because life is a blueprint. You just got to pick which one you want. Don't tell me you want this if you're doing a blueprint for this. So just tell me what you want. You want 100 years? You want 5 years? You want to be a doctor? What do you want? So then, later on into it, came out, he had a case, he was on anger. He was like, yo, you wouldn't be in school if you really signed up to be outside. He's like, I got an anger. I said, yeah, who's your lawyer? So I call his lawyer. I know your lawyer.
Right.
So that's how we got in.
Right.
And then an incident happened. The principal calls me, happened like 2 days later. He come up with something. So I showed him that I had him. They was about to arrest him. He wasn't letting them. They was like, the police, they was like, they coming.
Right.
So I said, let me talk to them. I'm gonna see what we gonna do. He wasn't allowing them to arrest me. When I came out, I said, a lot of people, but we gonna stay here with you. We gonna go to the precinct with you. And then from there, now we got a relationship with the kid. Come to find out his mother was murdered, right? He didn't have a relationship with his brother, so he just felt he had to be the only one. So we were looking past what he's doing and trying to figure out what it really is. So I had to let him know that I called everybody from the office, and I had the whole team coming. And I said, this your support. These your brothers, man. I said, so whenever you need something, you call, right? If you're going through something, call us and we pop up on it. We do. So a lot of those situations are happening. A lot of the kids, one of the kids that got shot, his mother was murdered by the boyfriend too. So these are the things that's happening. Is not just they acting out.
Right.
But they don't know how to deal with it. And they don't have nobody that understands them. So that's where sometimes they might not, a therapist ain't gonna get to them because they're not looking for us coming from the same environment and there's no judgment, then we're able to have a relationship. And then it's hard though. It's not, you ain't gonna talk to them today, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
It's an everyday thing. But one bad apple can spoil the bunch.
Absolutely.
So we have to understand that. So we support everything. I want to know what my household is like. I want to know everything. That's important.
And I think it's important to get. It's great. I'm excited that you guys are here. I think it's important to continue to bring in more violence interruption, violence prevention programs. I was thinking about one of the board members since she's one of the principals over at the Alfred E. Smith campus, right? That's Cortland. And so a lot of young people in there as well. So if we have a principal at Cortland School, that's probably bringing in a lot of kids from that area. And we have violence interruption from Patterson and Mitchell. There might be some work that we could do to bridge something there. And as we continue to,
it's a collective.
I think it's a good start. And I'm happy to see a young person at the table. So this is great.
Yeah, definitely. We could continue with that was basically, we was talking about the district needs. And you want to say that?
Just one of my concerns, just around safety, is when it gets dark early, usually when it's about to start around 4 or 5. Just I guess like the lighting when she's getting off the bus, and having to still walk down these blocks. They're a little bit dark. So that's my safety concern. The lighting and like policing in the area is not enough where she can actually feel a little bit safe. So one of its programs out, but do I want her coming home, after 7 o'clock or after 8 o'clock?
Is there a specific corridor that you think that you would love to see more lit that is not right now currently, or do you want to circle back with
maybe like as the bus stops in general, just having lighting, even for like the elderly. Sometimes they have their walkers, and it's not enough light for them to see. Like they need to put the walker over the step or
Sure.
watch out for this pothole. So just
Some more lighting around bus shelters.
Yeah, like shelters or in between, in those in between blocks.
In those areas.
Yeah, it gets a little creepy up here.
Would you guys like to say anything that you think the district needs that you don't have?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any suggestions. I'm new to the community, so I'm not from here either. So not really in tune to what's really going on with the young adults right now. So I don't really have any suggestions.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. Oh, that's amazing.
Just ain't Texas.
That's amazing.
How many times you heard that, right?
That's the first time I've ever.
Oh, well, there you go, Chair.
So, we'll go next with the agenda, and it's basically like,
Black man.
Yeah.
So anybody has over time, if you think some things over about district needs, please feel free to email the board, the email address on the letterhead about other district needs that you would suggest around any issue. But young adult specifically is for tonight for recording, but we'll take any issues so we can bring it again forward to the full board. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
thank you. Next is the committee overview, goals and expectations. I wanted to speak on us basically discussing what our goals look like. What would you like to see come out of the young adults committee? And also we could talk about recapping the first quarter's meetings when it came to like the horizons and all the other centers that came to speak on their plans. So anybody has like goals that they would like to see coming from the committee?
Well, mainly, I guess similar to what was just talked about, a lot of prevention issues with the youth and the violence, and even like what you just said. Yeah, I would like to see more lighting, but I guess that affects the whole population, youth and elderly and everyone. And you're absolutely right. So I think that'll probably come in context with our landscape committee, and then our environmental committee also. That's the environment, and we'll see what we can do about that. It kind of coincides with each other. The youth, that affects everyone. The elderly, the youth, the people who are so mainly that's for now. Those are some general goals. Okay, so we talked tonight about needing more recreation centers for the youth, so that they don't retreat to gang violence and joining that. Clarissa has had a talk with which I'm so happy they're here tonight, over because I'm sorry that gun violence and these youth, they're killing each other, and the numbers just get higher and higher and higher. So that is indeed a crucial issue, and of course I mentioned my issue about the economics and the youth, and how I want to see more of them get employed in their district, in their neighborhood, so that and I think that helps a lot of them out. Even like I noticed, like even like for example during Christmas vacation or winter recess, some of them are looking for something to do. Why don't we give them even if it's for those 2 weeks, a little income to bring home, from a nearby business. So I'm looking at the economic side and the business side of implementing more youth within our district. So I think those are three main issues right there.
No, definitely. I'll say outreaching, doing more outreach to local businesses, and what else? Something workshops where career development, bringing everybody together. Anything that anyone loves to do, we could create like workshops for those. It could be career, it could be small business, all of that. What would you like to see more of as a youth and young adult?
I guess like more youth jobs, because like
More what?
youth jobs, like jobs for youth, because like
Mm-hmm.
I was in some youth, and like it gives kids something to do, like with their free time, because like, when they're just at home or out in the streets, like they're not occupied, like, they're just doing random stuff, and that random stuff is the gun violence, and it's not good. And so like you give them something to do or somewhere to be. It's something fun. Of course, like it has to be fun, it has to be entertaining, or else they're not gonna want to do it. Like I'm youth, so like I see everything firsthand.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
obviously, like
Yeah.
so like all the gun violence, it's just like they have nothing else to do. Like
Yeah.
no one's gonna go. No one's actually like be realistic. People aren't gonna go home and do their homework.
Right.
I mean, I do my homework.
I know that's how you better say
I have
that.
to fix that real quick.
I know like other kids who go home and go back outside, like that.
Yeah.
But like you give them a job, a way to make money that's safe, and like, and they feel safe. I think that like the gun violence will come down, and obviously the more gangs that get made, because there's a new gang popping up every month.
Yeah.
It's a new one, which doesn't even make sense. And then there's more ops. Like some of these kids don't even know each other. Half them don't even know what means what. So like, it's just a whole bunch of confused little kids that don't have any support.
You know what we need? We need a training like on, or like a cheat sheet on the youth vocab, right? Some like ops, right?
That's oppositions. That's just.
And I think like, yeah, I think one of the things like as young people begin to join, more and more young people like tasking like, what is the lingo, right? Because I know ops because I've heard it for a while, but there's so many other things that I'm like, well, what does that mean?
So serious.
Right? And it's real. Like our younger generation, I always say like, I remember the time we used to say butters. That's butters. Like, I don't know. I'm aging myself, but young people have a form of communication that we need to learn and know. So I think that's, another thing that because one of the things that we're doing across all committees is trying to think about like the lingo, right? Making sure that one, we're not offensive to any community, right? Whether it's the LGBT community, knowing pronouns, knowing what to say, what not to say, right? In the world of disability, knowing what to say, what not to say. And so like, also like, what is the lingo in the world of young people and Gen Z? Is it Gen Z? What's this generation now? Like, what's the
18 to 24 is Gen Z.
And then there's
Gen Alpha.
which one?
Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
Wow.
No, that's a new one.
Because they
I
have
read
to
something
go
every
go
day.
back
See?
around.
That's
Like
a new
those
one
things.
for me, yeah.
Well, you keep
Gen
that-
Alpha, I ain't hear
Well,
that.
you bridge the gap, right? The more you deal with them, right? So as you build relationships with
Yeah,
them,
you learn.
you're gonna get there,
Mhm.
right? But if you distant,
Yeah. Right. And so for those of us who don't normally engage all the time, I think it'd be great
yeah, definitely.
to have like, oh, this is some of the vocab right now, things to know.
Yeah, but you'll be lost.
Yeah, I seen a few TikToks. My son just went off to college, and there was like a TikTok that says like the words. Do you know? I knew none of them. You knew all of them. Like Zaza,
Yeah.
I know what that is now. I know what that is now. I'm like, oh, but so.
And I wonder also, one issue that I find, what kind of academic facilities are we making available to the youth? So, okay, thanks for coming tonight.
I'm
Thank you. Oh, you're gonna be, oh, he's gonna be back.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
He'll be back here.
But academically, some of our youngsters just don't get the help they need. And we don't have the resources in our district. Like, for example, there is one library open in the Mount Haven Library. I think they're open usually till they leave like 6, sometimes till 7 now because the budget got increased. But even on the weekend, I met a youngster last year. He's in high school, and he lives in an environment where he wouldn't be able to concentrate at home, for example. He told me he has to go to the library to do like his assignments and everything. Now, I noticed they have a little teen section, but I wonder what kind of resources like that do we make available to them? I know kids who just don't have the kind of environment where they really can't go home and do their homework. Okay, I mean, I'm looking realistically at some of these kids come from those kind of environments, and being able to have a place, let's say like a library, or I don't care if it's a nearby. Well, wait, we don't even have a Starbucks in our district where a kid could go and sit and I mean it. We don't. The closest Starbucks is the one on 161st Street, and they took all the chairs out of there because they said too many homeless people were stopping in. That's what I heard. Why they did.
They went across the street from Lincoln and they took it out, right?
Yes, that Starbucks no longer exists. But what I'm saying, so where does a kid go when they can't go home to study?
Mm-hmm.
They have no place where they could really go and do their homework. Okay, where are they supposed to go? Where do they go? We have one library in the whole entire district. I heard
Melrose, right?
Melrose is still renovating.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's going to open up probably within next year. It's a major renovation project going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you walk around there, you'll see, which in a way is good, but so far it's closed. Woodstock, that's right. Woodstock is all the way on 167th Street and Trinity.
Woodstock, Longwood, the one right there?
They also come to our meetings, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they're not in our district.
That's all the way on Trinity Avenue. That's Trinity Avenue and 167th Street, I think.
That's 3.
No, that's
Woodstock.
the one by
they come to our DSC, so they represent
Yeah.
various.
Okay, so let's make it 2 libraries, and their hours always are also limited. What do we do? I had an experience like 2 years ago when I was helping at ESL here at Hostess Community College. Sometimes I teach ESL there, and interesting enough, there was an 18-year-old kid in the GED Community College program. It wasn't that he didn't want to deal with school and work. I found out he's dyslexic and was never really evaluated correctly because unfortunately we have the kind of school system that does that, and had a hard time reading. I couldn't understand why a person who came to all his classes, came to all his lessons and everything, had trouble with his studies. It's not that he didn't want to do the work, it's that he couldn't do it. And once we accommodated him, he almost got a perfect score on that GED exam. Once we gave him the right kind of accommodations, you see what I'm saying? I'm just giving that as a little example that I noticed that in our district, we get a large percentage of youngsters. They never get the right kind of academic evaluations. They never even get the right kind of resources to even succeed like that. And the truth is that, if you don't have at least like the first question they ask you in a job application, do you have your diploma or GED? Well, now they got around to more diplomacy. Now they ask you how many years of school do you have, and did you graduate? They're doing it more diploma, but it's the same thing, So they're stuck. They're stuck, okay, and those are just little examples of some of the youngsters that I bumped into and some of the needs that I see they have that nobody. So where do they turn to? Where do you turn to when it's not that you don't want to do the work, it's that you can't read if you're dyslexic. But once we give them the right accommodation, they excel. Okay, well, where do they turn to? What sources? I found out different districts have different budgets. So some districts have, but I noticed that all these kids that get placed in special ed are ending up in juvenile delinquent It's like a pipeline almost.
Juvenile delinquent. I see you have that on the agenda, Stephanie.
Yeah, yeah.
Not juvenile delinquent, but I see
Yes.
Horizon. So
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
right,
a good
yeah, so
way-
that's
segue.
for the upcoming, so
Yes.
so the next, base that I wanted to touch on was the fact that me and Zion will be possibly, collaborating with the education and youth and the young adults, so that's
Yeah, we'll
super
be merging
exciting.
those. That's
It's
exciting.
gonna become a stronger team, and I'm so excited for that. So I can't wait for all of us to basically come together and get approved, because you said it has to get approved by the.
Yeah, so we vote on the bylaws at the full board meeting, which is gonna be presented. The Youth and Education Committee and the Young Adults Committee will be merged into one.
Are we the only ones that's merging? Okay. All right, which will be amazing. And that would be something that we're gonna talk on if it gets approved next month. And for upcoming events, the Horizon Juvenile Detention Center would like for us to go to their facility and check it out. So we're going to coordinate a survey and where to see what day you can actually come collectively and take that tour. So you should be getting that in your email shortly.
Yep. So, Chair, thank you. So, as we talked about in the Education Youth Committee, we had opportunity to have the ACS Commissioner and his team to talk about the possible expansion and annex of the Horizon Juvenile Detention Facility, which is right here in our district on 149th Street. And as the Chair talked about, that it was because of race to age, there's obviously an expansion that's needed for that space in order to accommodate the possibility of an influx of young people because of the passing of that law into that facility. All of you members should have received the email already that talked about the presentation, that talked about the questions we had, that talked about, also gave you a hyperlink to the raise the age. You understand what that was required to do. I can share that to others who put the information in the sign-in sheet. And soon you should get a doodle a link that will have you choose a date that is likely you're available for, because the committee made a request to the commissioner, which he wants to accommodate for us to visit that facility and get a visual understanding of the reality of that facility. So once you doodle the link, click on the dates that work for, and times that works for you, and we are going to take the consensus of the majority to go and visit that facility. Likely, we will not be able to go in the areas where construction is, but I don't want to speak for the agency. We're going to push and be in good hopes that we'll see as much as possible. That
On the table, if anything, there's a booklet of the actual one, so if you want to take a look, and of course, and then maybe we can have questions when we go on the tour, which I'm excited for. Also, Fortune Society, we have heard that they've been getting a lot of complaints, like the people from that area. I'm not sure, recently you guys know there's a transitional shelter that was built, or not built, just renovated to be a transitional shelter in Wales. And there've been tenants and business owners around that area that have been making complaints. So we need to get in touch with them, maybe, right? So that way we could go over there and exactly see what is the problem, especially.
The chair had opportunity,
Oh,
and
yeah.
without to go this, I don't know if you want to
Yes.
touch that, Chair.
Yeah, briefly. So we got a complaint from, there's like a resident association on the block that's right next to the facility that opened. We got a complaint. So the DM and I went out to see, what was happening. We spoke to some of the folks who are in transition, who are being housed there right now. And they expressed their concerns similar to, what his name escapes me, right? Yep. To what he was saying to us is that a lot of the folks in the transitional shelter can't really go anywhere in the community. So they have to stay. So they stay in front of the place. It's considered loitering in front of the church, in front of the residential places, and everybody's complaining about these guys hanging out or smoking weed. And so they kind of expressed their concerns, saying that the facility is not fully, it's not complete yet. Like it's very rushed, the beds and the setup. And so things are pretty much all over the place. And so we try to go in to speak to the director. The director wasn't available, but she did email me and she's asking for a date and time to meet. And so we'll make that meeting with chairs and whoever would like to be a part of that meeting to discuss what's happening at the transitional shelter. And we did provide them with a letter of support when they did come to present to the board last year. They asked us, they told us the story, we know the importance of supportive housing. We know that this community and a lot of communities in New York City are in need of supportive housing. So they got the letter of support, but with that letter of support came the standard, right? If you're gonna have this in the community, there should be a standard of how things operate, how the organization operates, and so we'll follow up and send the date out and figure out what.
Especially because they came in and they said they were gonna have stuff for them to do.
Yeah.
If they didn't have.
Yeah.
Which I still felt like it was an issue because they were putting them in an area where there was already congested violence and drug use. I live legit down the block from it, and I was confused on the area that they chose it to be in. But since it was already spoken on and we received the information late, that was the best we could have did to not, knock the whole thing down.
Yeah.
But I was the 311 complaints. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could review them to see if anybody has called from 311, so that way when she comes to the table, we could actually let her know like this is what they're saying. I wouldn't mind doing outreaches with the business owners around there, because that's exactly what I did when I was handing out these papers regarding the transitional shelter. I legit went to every business person every business agent that was in that area and handed out those papers. Now, if they didn't read it and they didn't really think it was serious, then that's on them. But we could definitely do that. Bring them to the table and maybe have them find places for them to go. Because if they can't go outside and they can't go nowhere, maybe they could have them go to like the gym or maybe different things that. Old business, they want to coordinate a game night, which I would think that would be a fun thing to do with everybody for us to, engage and get to know everybody. That's something that we could definitely speak on. I guess we could speak on it more in October, since there'll be more people here. Everybody could decide on what they would like to do to engage with everybody together. The game night.
What it's for?
When it's
Want to talk about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So the game night is a social event to allow young people to be able to come together in a safe space to play games of mutual understanding, from anywhere from cards to Monopoly to Sorry to I don't know. There may be some new game that we young people don't know about that right now.
Put a PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Put the blinds up, right?
Blinds up.
I feel like kids be like, oh wait.
What's over there? No. Maybe it's some K. Was it 2-4? Whatever it is, K24. I don't know what it is.
Fortnite?
I don't know what it's about. Fortnite. No, Fortnite. Whatever they want to play. Roblox. I don't know.
Right.
This is be creative and people get at it.
No, guys, especially get to know us. Get comfortable with who we are, and if they have any questions, concerns, or if they any information that they could definitely come and
And if you have game ideas, let the chair know. So it's because we want to make sure this is be amazing. We already got some ideas about pizza and winglets. I don't know, and Planet Wings.
I would be able to bring some of my absolutely.
Yes.
Well, why not? Yes.
Yes,
This way.
That would be
Yes.
That would be
good. That would be great.
Yeah.
There's going to be some.
Right.
Yeah.
There it is.
You're with Yes, I'm the community engagement coordinator at Gunnell.
Yes.
Timothy.
I like that name. That's a real Southern
If
name.
you guys need a PlayStation set up, we'd be willing to sponsor that. We have one. We can bring it over. I'll bring one of the guys to set it up.
Oh, that's amazing.
Four
That would be
people or 2
fun.
people.
That would be nice.
Controllers.
Yeah.
I think Anthony wants to play.
I want to play.
6. Oh, look at me. See,
Yeah,
definitely
I want to
6.
play too.
You ready?
No, definitely. That
I
would
heard
be
that
amazing.
would be lots of fun.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
They would look forward to that. They will look forward to that.
And we don't have a date yet for the date night, right?
No,
We'll
not as
discuss
of
it
yet. Not as of yet. We don't have a date. Hopefully, we could do it mid-October just to give everybody time to so we could promote it as
You see
well.
some stuff on the wall already. You see,
I
she
see
sees
the
the
mural.
mural on the wall,
Yeah,
everything
yes,
else.
I'm excited
It's a
for
real
that
cool
mural
spot.
too.
I see it.
Also, the door did invite us to host one of our meetings at their location. So whenever we could get the door, yeah.
We're gonna be given an anger management class out of there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing. Let us know exactly when so we can post it on our
Great,
committee. Yes.
definitely.
Let us know. Also, yeah, can you pass that down to us so you can follow the social media page?
There's
That
one
we
there.
Yes, and please share with the young
Yeah,
people.
okay, she got one. Okay.
I'm excited about that was mainly one of our first goals was to get our media out there, which I'm happy about because a lot of great people have been following the page, and that could give us opportunities to let them know about any events. Any
You know what? We have an event coming up on September 20th. There's actually New York City Health and Hospitals is hosting a reimagining policing town hall on September 20th in the auditorium.
Is that with the BP's office too?
Yes, it is. I would love to send you guys an invitation
Yes,
when I get back to the office. We would love for you guys to come out.
It's a Friday.
Yes.
It is a Friday. It's from 6 to 9 p.m.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so
We
we
are
will be happy
also hosting
to
our
likely
cir-
post it on our social
Yeah,
media.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I will definitely send that over.
We have you also at Dreams Vecinos event. for
Yes, we're gonna be there. That is correct.
Yes.
We also host a monthly Circle of Safety meeting where the community. So
It's the
if you
guys
guys
are
are interested,
Wait, what-
that's
when
right.
is it?
That's
Last
right.
Thursday of the month.
Last Thursday of the month. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I tell
We're
you
coming
that
almost
all
right
the
behind
time.
you.
You know why? No,
Maybe we
but
could
you
choose another day. Maybe we could do another day just specifically for us.
This say 8 o'clock. We start at 6.
Yeah,
We start at 4. So
that's
we end
the
at about
thing.
6.
Yeah, so I think when you end, we start.
We come right behind you.
Because we start at
Okay.
6. Yeah,
Okay.
so that might work.
Yeah, I remember once when I was coming to
I've
the meeting, I
attended
bumped
the
into
Circle of
the,
Safety.
at the
And
Lincoln
if you
Hospital.
could pass that around to
Yeah.
your
No,
members, that would
definitely,
be great
please. I'll
too.
give you the youth account.
Yeah, we'll exchange contact
email, yes,
information
please.
prior.
And one of the initiatives that we had spoke about in the first quarter of the year was a community cleanup event. We've seen the drastic changes that's been going on in the hub with drugs, the syringes, and not that we pick up syringes, but there is a special team that is going out there picking up syringes, so maybe we could partner with them as well. But the community cleanup initiative is something that I really, really want to push. Only because I know that our foundation is something that we should always work on for better. Where you live is very important. And it begins there, I feel. And that was one of the initiatives that I wanted to begin. And also the community outreach, and where we just reaching out to local businesses in this area so that they could, clean up after their establishment as well. There's a project called Adopt a Block, in where each business could adopt a block and they could basically take care of that block.
Oh, wow.
So
would
so
be
that's
good.
something that I want to push out there. Even if we go to McDonald's.
I'll help
When
you
I
with
used to
that
work
stuff.
at McDonald's,
Okay. I want to work hand on
at
hand with
14,
you.
15 years old, they used to legit be on top of us about the cleanliness and how it looked. I'm confused on why it looks so nasty, and over here, how management is not coming out and sending one of their, team members to clean up the front, even if it's just to sweep every other hour or, every 3 hours at least. But I do want to strengthen our relationship with the business owners in this area, just to let them know, you could clean the front too. You could take care of your area, and see how they could come together to make sure that that block is actually cleaned and out of litter.
That is something that the Sanitation and Environmental Committee, we kind of talked about that also.
Right.
Because it's a legitimate concern
No, it
throughout the
is.
whole district. That 149th Street it's terrible.
It's hard.
I've gone over there. There's garbage all over. It's like the bins are overflowing, literally speak. It's just like a jungle madhouse there. So it's a.
So I'm glad you said that. So the district service cabinet meeting is something that the DM holds together with some board members. That we have all the agency heads out here that comes the second Tuesday of each month here at the community board at 10 o'clock. We've talked very specifically to the district sanitation superintendent for sanitation, who oversees collections, enforcement, etc. That is our primary focus. We're working to try to district needs.
Now, that is what,
Increasing
the second Tuesday?
the second Tuesday of each month at 10 a.m. is when the DM meets with all of the heads of agencies who provide services to this district. Like I was saying, that may be a district need that this committee can say, that all committees should say about increasing resources for our sanitation department and district to increase opportunities for them to have more collections, more garbage pails. Those are all those things that that district needs should be spilling out. So as you see those things, please highlight that. We've been very successful as community board with this recently, able to announce, working with Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, that we had an allocation to allocate additional trash can receptacles. We're working to try to work with our partners to add more resources from other elected officials. We are trying to evaluate whether or not we're going to get the big belly ones. Those are go back a little bit, but we think we would want to make sure that that's bigger mean less trash in the street. So we want to make sure we want to work harder at enforcement. We want to put cameras at strategic locations to determine on whether or not people are doing illegal dumping. It's happening a lot in our district. So please feel free to come to that meeting.
I'm gonna come. Okay,
the second Tuesday.
DM, I'll be in touch directly with you to make sure that the state, I want to come to that meeting. The second Tuesday on today, okay. That's an issue, and remember that I'm a person that's actually advocating the situation, even with the dog pool situation.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things.
Okay, you know, I grew up around here. When I was a kid, if you didn't pick up after your dog, not only did you get a summons, they could take that animal away. They were very strict. They were very strict.
I thought it was a ticket.
Not only did you get us, they were very strict when I was a kid, right here in this community. So
I'm glad you said that, because that is something also that the mayor himself makes it a personal initiative of his, a pet peeve to talk about.
Okay, but that's the law. I don't understand how, if you go to Central Park and you put your dog down and don't pick up, you get a $200 fine.
We don't have garbage cans. If we will have garbage cans and where people could pick up their dog things and actually toss it in the garbage, you know, it'll be.
Okay, all right. If we don't have garbage cans, the person is responsible to have their little plastic, and they got to pick up.
No,
and when they get to a garbage pail, the corner, they throw it in there. If not, but at a garden right here in Melrose, I'm part of it. We put the stances with the little with the plastic so that the people could have one, and make it easy for them to pick up after their dogs. And there's a garbage pail in the corner, and they still can't seem to do it. So, but you know what they did over here at the Jace Kilmer Park on Grand Concourse? They did start giving them tickets, and word got around. And the next day it was nice and clean. You start to hit them in their pockets, they start to learn, okay?
Another instance was I met a great I met a guy who he does community mapping.
Yeah.
And he could actually help us create maps and where we could locate issues. And he's coming like in October, so I told him that maybe we could have him come in and then give us a workshop on how to create maps and pinpoint our issues, so that way we could organize where we want to work on, you know, or even like when we started with the poop, and where we see more congestion of defecate of dogs, like, you know, so then we would pinpoint that. So he's coming in October. I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
We met him at the gun violence summit.
Let us know that date, and DM, I'm gonna put that in I already have Tuesday, 10 a.m. in my calendar.
Second Tuesday.
Okay, but I'll touch base with you and confirm, and I know Stephen is very good about sending me reminders. He's great. And I'm gonna be coming to that, because I really think that's crucial. And I've been advocating for that even before I was part of the board. This has been an ongoing situation. And it just gets, I mean, the other day I was tiptoeing. I find myself in some shoes over there, Morris Avenue, literally speaking, tiptoeing, not to get that. But you know what? When they started here at the concourse at the Joyce Kilmer Park, they started giving them summons. And the next day it was nice and clean.
I actually thought about purchasing on Amazon, like my own one, because on my block, it's just horrible. I legit have to wake up in the morning since I'm a homeowner and come out and clean my front because it just be full of dogs. So
It's the law.
It's like $200-$300 for that little.
Oh.
So I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't even.
It's
Why
the
not?
law. I don't understand. Why can't the law be enforced in our district?
No, definitely.
How come it's enforced in all the other districts but not ours? I mean, there's no excuse for that.
And that's what we
Okay?
could bring
If
the
you
people
have
to
a
the
dog,
table.
you're responsible to clean up after that dog. Okay.
Next, is the community outreach. That would be something that we could do.
Thank you,
then-
Clarissa.
Yeah, thank you. And for action items, the demographics, this whole summer I've been collecting resources, organizations, or everything that has to do with resources in our district. So that way for October we could go to these schools and try to see exactly what is needed when it comes to the schools and the demographics of everything that's around this area, right? And networking, that's something that I highly want to take initiative to do. The first quarter, we had a issue with actually doing action, and this year I really don't want it to be that. So if anybody's listening on the YouTube channel, I want us to really be action based and have deadlines, because if not, then we're never gonna get nothing done. So I want people to be as passionate, not only as passionate, but as active as well, because you could be passionate about something and not really pursue that. So I really want us to really be attentive, us to get to know each other, so that way we could feel comfortable about sharing ideas, especially if one of us can't make it, at least one of us could bring it up to the table and it could get, recognized. And then the civic engagement campaign is something that we could table in ASAP, just voicing on how important it is to vote and register. So that's something that we could start planning together, and where little stuff that we can do to bring them to here and register.
My understanding, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but at 16 they could register and vote.
Okay.
And I think a lot of youth don't know that, and that would be good. So
Yeah.
that means that by the time they're 18, they could automatically go and vote.
Right. So what we could do is we could maybe create this space to have them register, and not only just register, but probably bring people to speak on how important and why it is important to vote and register, and have them get a little idea of the
Well, that
process
would be
of
good.
it.
And I think, okay, at the door, during the summer, the Bronx Defenders was there with their meeting, and I understand that they have a direct link now with the Board of Election, that all a person has to do is walk in there with an ID and they'll do the whole process for you.
Okay,
Because
so maybe we can have
sometimes,
them come and-
the website of the Board of Election gets a little difficult to navigate sometimes, I heard. And all they have to do is show an ID card. But the truth is, we're trying to get as many people as possible to vote this year.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Unless you want that, well, let me not get into
And
politics here, but
we could always create like events, like dance events, and where we could create events for kids, for the young adults and the youth, and then
That
at
would
the
be
end, we could vote or register to vote. But it is something that
would be good.
we could bring them together.
I would love to work with you on that. I would be very interested in getting our youth signed up to vote as soon as possible.
Yes, I would. So I would definitely we could definitely do that. Anybody has any more?
the Board of
ideas or-
Election, okay, we can get in touch. I myself will call them because you can get, they did that at
We
the Bronx.
have a campaign already for
Oh,
registration and voting, stuff like we talked about.
Oh, okay,
Right, so-
okay. Oh, good,
When it
good.
came to the campaign for the registered, how is it that what are we starting with so far? What do we have so far?
With
To help
registering to vote.
register to vote.
NYC Votes is coming on 10/10.
Okay.
Yes.
So they got
I see.
So to our youth and young adults committee.
You have a flyer?
No, but
Not
I think
yet.
she's supposed to send one to us actually, and so we'll
Oh, so I'll
send that
create
out
one.
once we have it, and then it's open to anyone who wants to join.
Oh, okay.
The idea
So
is
that
to, yeah. So that day we'll have that. That'll
Okay.
probably be like a 45-minute thing, and then we'll go into the agenda.
Okay.
It'll be
all
part of the agenda.
right. So they're gonna come, but we're
That's
gonna
good.
register. We're gonna register.
No, we're not registering anybody. We're
Oh.
learning about registering people to vote, how to do it, the importance of it, so that when we begin to register people, we know what to say.
Gotcha.
You know, we know what
Okay,
to
so
do.
they're basically gonna school. Basically.
Yeah, the do's and don'ts.
Okay. Another thing you mentioned that is the 10-10.
10-10.
The young we're gonna do it.
That's the merge. So that's 10-10 is I think a Wednesday.
No, it's Thursday.
10-10.
10-10 is Thursday.
So that's usually.
Whichever day it is the day that we.
Meetings first
No.
come together.
I know,
Also, it's a
but
Thursday.
yesterday she said the 9th, so I didn't want to confuse.
No, it's 10-10. I'm sorry.
10-10?
It's
Okay,
10-10.
so
So the
10-10,
Thursday will be the
Thursday.
day of the Youth and Education Committee
Okay.
and Young Adults.
Okay, so we leaving it on the
It's
10th.
gonna be the Thursday.
Okay,
It's gonna be Thursday.
Moving forward, it will always be on the 10th.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it'll be the
It'll
second.
The second
Thursday.
week. Yeah,
Thursday.
the second week. So let me change that. All right. That's amazing. So then we don't need to invite basically young adults for that day because it will only be like us to
Right.
help them.
Right.
Okay. And then
But
we'll
we're bringing young. We've committed to bringing young people. I think it's good for them to see and learn
Okay.
about registering to vote.
Okay, yes, 10-10 is a
NYC Votes
Thursday.
does like a history on voting, and they kind of engage, and so it'll be good
It's
for
like
our
a
young
workshop
people to
day
do
too.
We didn't get a flyer for that.
Yeah,
If
for
you
sure.
need help designing
Yes,
one,
I'll
let me
definitely.
know.
Okay.
We'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'll be having
I remember
flyers.
once participating in something like that, and at the end, it's like a workshop that the Board of Elections does, and at the end, they even give you like a voter's registration certificate
Yeah.
that you
So what
become
we could
served
do
to,
is,
you know.
since they come in 10-10 and they're gonna show us how to do it, would you want to create like a workshop after that date?
So we're the week before 10/26. Before 10/26, we're gonna do a get the vote out, get
Okay,
registered,
Got it.
to get
Okay.
folks excited, and so we'll
All right.
keep everybody posted about that.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
And that was, any other ideas that you guys would like to speak on? Or what is your interest, or what would you like?
Maybe just more ways of connecting with more schools, or I just want like to see more youth involvement a little bit, like
Yes.
just getting a combination of that parent and child conduct thing.
Yeah.
Just so parents, we have to know what's going on with our children too,
No.
because we can't blame it all on the streets and we can't blame it all on the schools. So it's like getting everybody together. So
Right,
I would
right.
like to see more of that.
Yeah, we could definitely, like I mentioned during the summer, we have like a list of all the schools that we basically go under, so we could definitely start little by little, going to each school. We could use it as an outreach day. We could create a day, and where we probably visiting a school and probably visiting a business, and basically just collaborating and interacting with them. And that's one of the stuff that we're doing, like an outreach day, and where that's basically what we're doing. Instead of coming here, we could probably go to one of the businesses that came here and opened up, or even one of those centers that's coming in and opened up. Like we have a lot. We got iHeart that's still on its way.
I want to add here. I want to add that you ahead of the game, right? You brought a young person today. We yesterday at the Young Adults, everybody committed to bringing a young person to the next meeting.
Okay.
So that was one of the goals. So at the next meeting for 10/10, everyone should have a young person with them. And so we want to make sure that we're going to have the NYC votes, but we're also, for those young people, we're also going to survey them to ask what is it that they think district needs should be about, and find out information from them and figure out how do we continue to engage them, right? How do we incentivize it? A lot of young people, like they want jobs, they want to make money, and that's the reality.
They
so
do.
we got to figure out.
And even touching base on your daughter, even creating workshops so they can see different jobs. Like, if opposed to, like they said, all they see is basketball, or, they want rapping, opposed to that, they could create workshops where they could see different career developments. It could be fire department, it could be police department, it could be a surgeon, it could be anesthesiologist, it could be, a lot of workshops where these kids could actually see what it is, to work at these places. And
So we sit in Lincoln Hospital's basement and we have access to the entire hospital and a ton of different careers. And we have actually implemented a career development workshop where we have the hospital employees, they sign up and they volunteer to come in and discuss their career and the track that they went on with our students. If you guys had any students that wanted to join, I could share that calendar with you as
yes,
well.
please.
So they can drop in. We have an open door policy, so they could just stop in if they wanted to and hear what's going on for the day.
Right, that's
I'll share that with you
amazing.
guys
Because
as
then what
well.
we could do with that info, we could, once we go through the outreaches for the schools, we could let them know of that program, direct them directly to them.
Yep.
And we could, that's how we could collaborate. And that's when the mapping comes in and where we could find all these great programs that we don't know about and put them together with the schools that's closest to them. So when they do come out of school, they actually have somewhere to go and participate in these programs and these workshops. But that was about it.
Yeah, I just to add and just to add this, I think as we continue to meet with organizations and even for the DM, we have city agencies that come in and they have the district service cabinet meeting. I think one of the questions should always be is like, what opportunities do you have for our young people?
Yeah.
Right? Career development, internships, like how many spots can you allot in your organization? Can we get one student in? And so those should now be like the standard that we're asking, like, what can we do for our young people? Businesses in our communities, tons of businesses down the Third Avenue corridor, right? Entrepreneurship opportunities. So figuring out like building these relationships. All of our committees tie in and intertwine somehow, right? Economic development, with the youth and young adults. That there's a way to bridge that, right? We have businesses who want to say, I'm opening a business in your community. Well, if you're opening up a business, we have kids and we have young adults who need jobs. And so we have to make sure that we're pushing that when we are approving any licenses or any businesses, any developments, any construction, anything that's happening in our community. We got to push to get our people.
And that was it. Any more ideas you guys want to circle and speak on?
Not ideas I want to circle, but just some information that I came across. Like I just want to share with everybody, just some stuff for the youth. So I have a flyer for free acting classes for teens. It's an application process. It's like Saturdays, so they'll be there for 6 hours. That's free. And then they have the Bronx Youth Council for high schoolers, 9th through 12th grade. They meet on a bi-weekly basis. And then they have free community soccer league. And this is for children from 5 to 12 years old. And this is free as well. So I'm going to leave some flyers here at the board so people could come from YouTube and pick them up and everybody can
Just put them right now on the page.
Do that
I love
one more
that.
time. Do that for
What?
you do for
YouTube. Yeah, so they can come in and pick up the flyers if they want to.
Great, thank you so much. Good resources. Thank you.
That's great. Yes, I
Wow.
actually want to grab.
Yeah, no, I want to grab the acting one.
Okay, yeah, I like
I want to
that.
grab all three of them so I can take a picture. Yes.
They're expensive.
We can probably
Oh,
take
it's have a
copies.
birthday membership.
We can probably take some
All right,
extra
so
copies.
can I get a
of
motion to adjourn?
Oh, okay, yes, I'll pass a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
And second,
As I am bold, second that motion to adjourn the meeting.
discussion of the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you guys all for coming.
Okay, that's fine, y'all.